I grew up here in New York City, and I grew up in the museums in this city. And I knew from a very, very young age that I wanted to be someone who worked in museums. Our founders were very intentional in our name, not only the Studio Museum, but the in Harlem, citing us in this community geographically, but also intellectually, and also, I feel, spiritually. In one way, we were trying to replace what had historically been the way in which the Studio Museum had been in this neighborhood on 125th Street, accessible to all. So we wanted the design of the building to echo that. But at the same time, we also wanted to create new spaces that would allow us to work and live in this neighborhood with so much more capacity, right? To be able to offer so much more in our building. And so the design was really, on the one hand, wanting to capture what had always been the feeling of the Studio Museum, but to reimagine it, right? In this, the first purpose-built museum in our institutional life. Our founders imagined this, right? This is what they would have done in 1968 had they had the financial resources. But in a way, the space at which they were deeply, deeply and profoundly wealthy was in culture, right? They understood how profoundly important the mission of this museum was. And even though our start was in a very modest space, it always was driven by this huge ambition. So in many ways, this building is just a reflection of that founding ambition. I'm thrilled and excited that we are able to be back in the life of being a museum again. You know, we closed in 2018 for what we thought might be a 4-year project. And of course, many, many, many things happened that made that not the case. But to be here in 2025, reopening is really incredible. This project was made possible by the Studio Museum team, present and past. You know, through this process, I often hear from folks who worked here in the past, and I make it clear to them that the work that they did then also made it possible for us to build this building now. And so this project is really, I hope, a reflection of what really have been the vision and the voices of so many people, staff, board, audience, and artists who've been a part of this incredible institution.